From time to time, these charged particles get tossed.
Cooling pavement and sees immediate results.
Cooling pavement reduces that surface air temperature by an average of about 3.5 degrees.
How weather can impact the price at the pump.
Chillier weather means more fuel for the same price.
Plus, sky clues that can give advanced warning if severe weather is on the way.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Steve Rudin from WJLA in Washington, D.C. Severe weather is targeting parts of the Gulf Coast today with a double threat, powerful storms and flooding. The Storm Prediction Center has increased the risk in areas shaded in orange to a 3 out of 5. It includes San Antonio, Austin, Mobile, Alabama, and parts of the Florida Panhandle. A slightly lower risk for the area in yellow. That includes Houston. Large hail, damaging wind gusts, and tornadoes are possible. A moderate flood risk continues from New Orleans to Pensacola. About 52 million people live in these areas and should stay weather alert this afternoon and evening. The storm threat comes just one day after a hailstorm battered East Texas. Baseball-sized hail pummeled communities near Beaumont. The sound made from falling hail was deafening. The same system brought hail and damaging winds to central Texas. Many cars were damaged by hail and winds knocked down trees. So how does hail the size of softballs, grapefruit, and even larger form and stay in the sky long enough to grow that big? San Antonio meteorologist Chris Suchin explains.
Hi, meteorologist Chris Suchin for the National Weather Desk. And a look at giant hail that fell in Texas Thursday. In fact, the second largest hailstone ever recorded in the state of Texas, just over 6 inches in diameter, under 1 pound in weight. That was the record hailstone from 2021 that fell in Hondo, and that one there was over 1 pound in weight and almost 6.5 inches across. Explosive instability in the atmosphere, a little wind shear to get these rotating updrafts, but the buoyancy in the air, being how unstable it was, accelerates the updraft velocity. So as those hailstones are bouncing around up into the storm, they're growing new layers of ice, getting bigger and bigger based on temperature changes and liquid content up into the storm. Eventually, those hailstones will get so heavy that they'll be able to overcome the updraft speed, which likely is in excess of 100 miles an hour to keep a big hailstone like that suspended. And when it falls, likely falling in excess of 100 miles per hour, plus the wind from the storm slinging it out as well, those strong winds. It's an exceptionally rare event, 4.5 inches for grapefruit size, but in this case here, again, it was over 6 inches in diameter. That is giant hail that fell in Texas.
Wildfire season has already started in Canada. There are more than 100 active fires, with most in British Columbia and Alberta. Just like last year, smoke from those fires is now drifting south. Parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin are under air quality alerts today. The air is said to be unhealthy in the red zones. Many living in northern Minnesota said they could smell the smoke in the air yesterday. The region had some of the worst air quality in the world over the weekend. Now, the story that flooded social media all weekend long and was the buzz from Maine all the way to the Florida Keys. The northern lights were visible in much of the country on Friday night and again last night. These pictures were taken in upstate New York. Even Southern California was treated to a rare show as the sky danced with colors of red, purple, yellow, and green. It's all because the strongest geomagnetic storm since 2005. Here are some answers to why it happened.
About every month, the north and southern parts of the sun, what humans call the north and south parts of the sun, spin a little faster than the middle. And this friction and this interaction with all the gases that make up the outer layers of the sun create these crazy, strong magnetic fields. And from time to time, these charged particles get tossed into space. And if the orbit of the Earth is in the place where those things are shooting, we get zapped, if I may. Earth is this churning molten iron and nickel, and it creates this magnetic field that enables your compass to work, what have you. And so this is what causes the charged particles to come down at the north and south pole, down toward the middle of the Earth. And it's the speed of those particles passing through the atmosphere that creates the aurorae, the aurora borealis and aurora australis.
We don't really know until the storm emerges, so we can forecast and see them emerge from the sun, but then we have to wait. We have to wait until it gets only 1 million miles from Earth. That's where our first small fleet of satellites are that detect the changes in what we call the solar wind. Then we have very little warning time at that point, but we have to wait until then. So once we saw it arrived like the baseball Bill described, hitting you in the face. It struck with force, and it immediately started to light up because it was the favorable direction, that opposite Earth's, and it connected. And we rapidly rose all the way up through G4, and then we hit G5. 2025 and 2026 will still be at risk for these types of storms.
Cleanup continues this morning in Tallahassee, Florida, after severe storms caused plenty of damage last week. Not only did the storms knock down trees and power lines, but they also blocked one of the roads into the community. As Kenya Cardone explains, dozens of people were left trapped in their neighborhood.
We're here, just if anybody was wondering, there are a whole neighborhood of people here, and we're waiting.
That's Lawrence Trawick speaking to me from inside of Burgess Drive, a street in southwest Tallahassee with only one entrance, which is currently barricaded by massive debris.
This is day 3 down here on Burgess Drive, and we can't get out. Nobody can get in.
And if they are, it's thanks to these neighbors who have turned their backyard into a makeshift pathway for their fellow neighbors.
It was a lot of pulling branches and getting the hedge trimmers out. Unfortunately, we don't have chainsaws, so it took a lot of hand sawing.
Trawick tells me there are at least 50 people living on this street dealing with devastating damage to their homes and no power.
For us, it's not necessarily the power. We're just like, we're trapped, literally. We can't get out of here.
There are power lines hanging down at every turn, which neighbors say has made landscaping services turn away from them unless they can turn the main power box off. Problem is,
the main power is back here.
Practically unreachable. They tell me they understand city and county crews are swamped with work, but they can't help not feeling hopeless.
I don't know any other way you would feel when you're trapped and nobody's coming to help you.
There's been plenty of severe weather over the last few weeks, and we have been hearing a lot about the National Weather Service when they take surveys after the storms. Meteorologist Megan Dennehy shows us what goes into the process.
So what exactly is the National Weather Service, the employees, the meteorologists there, what are they looking for in the field? Wind takes down trees and structures, but is the wind spinning like this, or is it in a straight line? So when the National Weather Service meteorologists go out to survey damage, like what we've seen in parts of the Carolinas over the last couple of days, they're looking at which direction trees have fallen. Have they fallen down in one direction, or is the damage more chaotic? Tornadoes tend to take trees down in different directions, send 2x4s through walls, and where we see larger tornadoes in the Central Plains states and what we saw in Alabama as recently as the other night, they have larger tornadoes that do more structural damage. That's what the National Weather Service is looking for. Then they publish their reports to tell us if it was a tornado or straight line wind.
At least 140 are dead after more than 100 more are missing after drenching storms flooded parts of southern Brazil. Nearly 2 million people have been impacted in the country and hundreds of thousands have been displaced. The severe flood risk is not over yet. Another round of heavy rain is in the forecast again today. At least 37 are dead after flash flooding and a cold lava flow in Indonesia. A cold lava flow is a mixture of volcanic material that flows down a volcano's slope when it rains. Drenching monsoonal rains and mudslides caused a river to tear through villages in the island of Sumatra over the weekend. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll find out how one Texas town is using a special type of pavement to reduce heat island effect. And we'll find out how the temperature could save you money at the gas pump.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn with a look at the Northeast as we head through the day on Monday. A good amount of sunshine to start across the Northeast, but more clouds roll in. The chance for some scattered showers, and especially the western part of New England as we head through later in the day on Monday. And then more rain expected across northern New England as we head into the day on Tuesday. And the high temperatures for the day today are going to top out in the 60s for many areas. We'll see some 70s as well.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Looks like your Monday is going to shape up to actually be pretty decent. We'll be rid of some rainfall for at least a time, starting out with maybe perhaps a little bit of patchy fog, but sunshine the rest of the day. Moving in through your Tuesday, though, it is going to change dramatically. Back to seeing some clouds and a good chance for some rainfall. But as we head into your Monday, it's going to be nice and warm. We'll likely hit the upper 70s or so. And as we move into Tuesday, certainly cooler with the rain around.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. We're going to see temperatures in the 70s from Nashville, Birmingham 71 degrees, Atlanta 66, Raleigh 82. It's much hotter behind the front. We have some storms ahead of that front, but looking at 93 in Tampa, 87 in West Palm. So Florida is going to be baking as we go through the next several days. That heat will stay in the 90s. A lot of showers and thunderstorms from Mississippi through Alabama. Some heavy downpours of rain through the panhandle of Florida through the afternoon and evening today.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Last summer was one of the hottest on record in San Antonio, Texas. Now the city is looking at new ways to cool things down. That includes a very special kind of pavement. Jordan Elder has more.
The results are in for the city's cooling pavement pilot program, and leaders say it lived up to the name, in some places more than others.
The cool pavement sites compared to a freshly paved asphalt was an 18-degree reduction. A lot of this is a learning process, and I think we're ready to move on into that next phase.
I spoke with Jose Medina, a researcher at Arizona State University who helped roll out more than 100 miles of cooling pavement in Phoenix. He says San Antonio's results are promising.
If you have a larger size with these reflective coatings, I think it's going to provide a more benefit.
Chief Sustainability Officer Doug Melnick says there could be other benefits too. They just haven't been tested yet. He and other experts say this coating could actually make the roads stronger.
Fewer construction projects, less traffic, and less of a tax burden to fix those roads.
If cooling pavement is expanded, the city plans to pair it with more tree cover and shade structures. Mealy says that combination is key, especially since summer 2023 was the hottest on record.
The urban heat island effect is a serious issue in San Antonio, and it's only going to increase over the 21st century.
Weather can have an impact on pavement we drive on, but what about cars, minivans, SUVs, and trucks we ride in? Weather can impact the cost of gas at the pump. Arena Plunkett explains.
We all know about pain at the pump, but can your dollar go a little further in the cold? In today's Liar Legit, I find out when's the best time to go fill up. To find the answer, I turn to the man who takes out the guesswork from the gasoline. Gas Buddy Head of Petroleum Analysis, Patrick DeHaan.
If you're in an area that tends to be very cold and is suddenly 100 degrees, you're probably getting the short end of the sticks.
It all has to do with temperatures and density. Chillier weather means more fuel for the same price. On the flip side, if you're filling up in 100-degree weather, fuel becomes less dense, meaning it takes more to hit full. But with temperature correction measures in place at stations to equalize the amount of fuel dispersed, DeHaan says the difference in how much you're saving is slight.
Kind of like splitting hairs, right? You may save a little bit, but it's not like you're going to get a free tank of gas.
Heat can make your gas a little more expensive. It can also bring additional dangers to your car. Meteorologist Vetus Reed looks at how fast your car can heat up in hot weather.
I'm meteorologist Vetus Reed. As summer approaches, we're seeing those temperatures get kind of hot out there, and one of the things we have to always remember is safety in the cars, especially with kids and our pets that were in there. How fast can a car heat up? Well, when you think about it, heat-related deaths are preventable. Look before you lock the car, and you want to remember the temperature in your car can quickly become deadly. If the outside temperature is about 80 degrees, imagine inside within 10 minutes it feels like about 99. Within 20 minutes it feels like about 109 degrees in there. Within 30 minutes, 114 degrees. And then we're looking at 60 minutes, an hour, it feels like about 123 to 125 degrees. So remember, heat-related deaths can be preventable. Look before you lock that car. Very important information.
Weather impacts our lives in many ways. It even impacts the sports we love. Meteorologist Amy Aronson looks at the interesting ways weather can impact baseball.
Weather's actually a big player in the game of baseball. I'm meteorologist Amy Aronson here at Oriole Park and Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland, with the ways weather impacts the game. 2 to 3% of MLB games are actually postponed or shortened due to weather. Bright sun and blue skies makes it harder to judge the depth when catching balls. Meanwhile, all clouds makes it harder to see the ball when it's coming off the bat. Warm and humid air is less dense than cool and dry air, so more home runs are likely when it's hot and humid. And of course, wind speed and direction are key when hitting balls. Let's play ball. In Baltimore, Maryland, I'm meteorologist Amy Aronson.
Have you ever heard of a sundog? If not, there's probably a very good chance that you've actually seen one. Meteorologist Sharon Graves explains what they are and how they form.
Good morning. We got this picture in on our Chime In page, and this picture of the sun going through some high, thin clouds the morning after the storm Sunday did produce what we call sundogs. You see this colored area on either side of the sun right here and right here. You probably have seen these before, and they're beautiful. They can be very bright, or sometimes they can look a little more white. But these two bright spots on the side of the sun are called sundogs. They're also sometimes called parhelia or mock suns. They're generally a rainbow-colored patch of light seen on either side of the sun. The sunlight is going through those high, thin clouds, and those are composed of ice crystals. So as the light is going through the clouds, it refracts, meaning it slows down and bends and causes a prism effect, causes the rainbow colors to come out on either side of the sun in those spots. Now, it can form on one or both sides of the sun. If it forms an entire ring around the sun, then we call that a halo. But beautiful. These things are always fun to watch for as we see those high, thin clouds, those cirrostratus or cirrus clouds moving through.
It's thunderstorm season, but not all storms are created equal. Meteorologist David Boyd explains severe thunderstorm warnings.
Did you know there are 3 tiers of severe thunderstorm warnings? There's the base level for 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and or quarter-sized hail, considerable severe thunderstorm warnings for 70-mile-an-hour gust and or golf ball-sized hail, then the destructive severe thunderstorm warnings for 80-mile-an-hour wind gust and or baseball-sized hail. And these destructive warnings will trigger WEA alerts on phones just like tornado warnings.
Sometimes Mother Nature can give you clues that severe storms are on the way. One of those clues comes in the form of momentous clouds. Meteorologist Kevin Koskern explains.
Now, I love videos of rainbows and momentous clouds. How often do you get them in the same video? Well, this is maybe our first time. This is storm chaser James Hilger, who sent in this video when he was chasing in northeast Oklahoma and into Arkansas earlier today. Check out that rainbow, folks. I'm like, yeah, that's a rainbow. And then all of a sudden he panned his shot at these beautiful momentous clouds. These are very common clouds with downward convection on the edges of where severe weather is happening. So if you ever see those pouch-like clouds coming out of the sky, that means there's most likely severe weather nearby.
Alrighty, let's check around the country to see what the weather's like today. We begin in Catskills, New York. A mix of sun and clouds will bring added cloud cover later on this afternoon, along with a chance for a few showers. At least we're not looking at severe weather. Highs will be in the 70s. A pretty view of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Partly sunny skies this morning, a little bit of haze, but clouds are going to continue to roll in this afternoon. Highs will range from the middle 70s to around 80 degrees. Welcome to Joplin, Missouri, located on historic Route 66. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms will pop on radar this afternoon. And we finish in Spokane, Washington, where it will be a beautiful day with plenty of sun and highs in the 70s. As we head to break, let's take a look at more dazzling views of this weekend's northern lights.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. We've got rain moving its way into the southern part of the Midwest as we go through the day today. And all in all, for your Monday, temperatures running pretty close to normal for most of us. If you're in that rain like Des Moines or also Kansas City, a little cooler with highs in the 60s. That rain slowly shifts a little bit more towards the southern Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley for the day tomorrow, with more thunderstorms moving into the northern plains as we head into late Tuesday into Wednesday, and that rain finally leaving the Ohio Valley Wednesday.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo looking at our forecast across the region, and we're tracking more showers and thunderstorms today. Could be on the strong to severe side. It's a slight risk, level 2 out of 5 across all of Louisiana into east and central southern Texas as well. Temperature-wise, 70s and 80s with the storm chance throughout the day. As we head into your Tuesday, quieter. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s to start today, but it heats up back to the 80s to low 90s for much of the region Tuesday afternoon.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson. Here's what's happening across the West. We are mostly dry and very warm for the Southwest, with temperatures still reaching up into the 90s for parts of Nevada and into areas of Arizona. Now looking at our next weather maker, however, a little front sweeping through the Pacific Northwest, bringing some spotty drizzle, will ultimately be the primary weather maker for some showers and thunderstorms in parts of Idaho and Montana as we get through the course of the day. That's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Some broadcast meteorologists use percentages when there's a chance for rain or snow, and it's often very confusing. Here's a recent TikTok post from meteorologist Amanda Vire with more.
Let's talk pops. I'm talking probability of precipitation. Now, our forecast area represents 100% of those little squares. But my forecast states there's only a 20% chance of rain today. This just means 20% of my entire forecasted area has the potential to see some rain. Let's take it a step further and talk terminology. So that 20% of rain I was talking about, that's going to be an isolated threat. All the others, widely scattered, numerous, and widespread. That's all dependent on the percentage of rain chance within that area. Did you get all that?
Why it doesn't happen here? Why don't we have You've seen a lot of great content from our team of meteorologists across the country, but today we want to share some weather content with you. To find more, head over to the National Weather Desk on TikTok, on Facebook, and on X. We're back after this. Thank you so much for looking in this morning. I'm glad you're able to join me. I'm meteorologist Steve Rutan from WJLA in Washington, D.C. I'll see you back here again tomorrow. Good day.